All right, day 405. More properties coming on the market. So we're going to keep adding to this list. So today we're in a little bit of the Huitown area. And what we're going to see here is this property. So just to let you know what I'm filtering on. I'm filtering on 4-bedroom plus single family homes, property that's been on the market for less than 3 days. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm staying on top of properties that are coming on the market every single day, so I can keep track of what the ARV, the after repair value, looks like. Okay. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because of the BRRRR strategy, which stands for buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. And the reason we want to pursue this strategy is because, well, that it's a very popular strategy because it's very scalable. And so let's just say you're able to buy a property all cash for $40,000, and you renovate a property for $30,000. Okay, well, if you're able to spend $70,000, but you're able to turn that property into being worth $100,000 as the after repair value, well, now all of a sudden you can go get a DSCR loan, a debt service coverage ratio loan that allows you to take back out, let's say, 70% of the home's value. That allows you to get back the $70,000 you invested cash in the first place in the form of loan proceeds, which is, again, cash. So you can take the same $70,000 and put it into your next property. Because what's the alternative? You put 20% down on a property, then you have to work really hard at a full-time job and save up all your money and then do it again. That's what you have to do. Okay, well, in that scenario, that becomes very slow because you're having to save up for a down payment every single time. This strategy allows you to recycle the same capital over and over. But obviously, what is one of the key pieces of information that you need? The ARV. And the ARV, comparing properties is really more of an art than a science. Now, what would be the perfect comp, right? So let's say you see this property coming on and you're able to see a property directly next to it. So if you look at the map, right, this property next to it with the same lot size, same square footage, same bed bath count, same lot size, everything. Well, that would be your quote unquote perfect comp. But as you get further and further away from that, right, if you cross natural borders like a creek, if you cross big borders like a highway, right, you're now into completely different neighborhoods. So the chances of that comparable property, in this case, this property on 442 being used as a comp, it gets harder and harder for you to be accurate. But regardless, what you need to do is just, you got to stay on top of what's happening in the market, right? So this property, 442 Murphy's Lane, this is a 4-bed, 2-bath, 1164 square feet. This is being sold at $140,000. It's being listed at 11.8. What is the lot size? 1 second, let me see. This is 0.3 acres. So I'm going to write that down. 0.3 acres. Whoops, 0.3 acres. No garage, no carport. And what division is this in? So usually I look at this property right here. I kind of just zoom out and I try to see if this is in closest to West Highlands, okay? Because as you go to different neighborhoods, you're going to start figuring out whether or not it's somewhere that you want to go. West Highlands. Okay, this property. Let me check the condition of this home so I can make some notes to myself. This property looks decent. New floor, new painting. Decent kitchen. And a decent bathroom. Yeah, decent kitchen, decent bathroom. There you go. New paint, new flooring, wooden color, no recessed lighting, decent kitchen, decent bathroom. All right, cool. Now I have a general condition of the home. Now, next time I see a property that might be a 3-bed fixer-upper and I want to look at a similar property, I now know what it's being listed for, right? And it's so important for you to stay on top of what's coming onto the market, what's being sold for, what's being listed for, because I'm looking at some of the properties that I just saw that came on the market a couple of weeks ago. You can kind of see that these are all on the market still. So they're not selling yet, right? They're not flying off the shelves. They're still on the market for about $120 to $130 a square foot. So that's something going to be really valuable. Now, let's just say, just for scenario analysis purposes, let's go ahead and analyze this deal. So this property is being listed for $148,000, 148,000. This is the 4-bed, 2-bath. The rehab on this property, I don't think there's any rehab, so I'm just gonna leave it turnkey at about $3,500. Let me go get the market rent by going to affordablehousing.com, going to the owner section, going to the market rent estimator, plugging the address, plugging a bedroom count, and now you're gonna see by bedroom count that the average rent for 25 units within a 2.76 mile radius is $1,377. So I'm going to use $1,377 for my monthly income rents right now. Okay. My property taxes are going to be $125 a month, just taking it right from here. Obviously, you should check with your county assessor records before closing on it to verify. Homeowner insurance is $115, so I'm going to equals 115 times 1.2, and I'm adding a 20% premium to this insurance number specifically because of the fact that if you turn it into an investment property, chances are they're going to charge you more premium because they view it as a riskier asset. So that's why I'm multiplying it by 1.2. Okay. Now, 10% every single month is set aside for maintenance. So this is for a future roof repair, a future HVAC replacement, future water heater replacement, because this money doesn't belong to you, right? I just got a bill for $15,000 for a Scottsdale home not that long ago. And if you didn't set aside $137 for 100 months, well, you're going to find out a little bit later on that you didn't make any money because you underestimated your expenses and you overestimated your profitability. And now you don't look so smart anymore. So don't be that person. Make sure you do these estimates. You have 10% set aside for property management. You have 5% set aside for vacancy, just because someone always moves out after a while. So now you got a down payment of 25% in E and F19. And then you're going to do B4 times the down payment percentage of $37,000. So that's $37,000 down payment. Your finance amount in K6 is going to equals to my listing price in B4 minus my down payment percentage and $37,000. So I'll be financing $111,000 on this deal. Oops, I forgot to turn off chat. I always forget to do this. Sorry, I apologize. Here we go. And now with all these numbers in here, I want to underwrite this property with a 7.25% interest rate. And assuming everything else stays constant with a 2.5% closing cost, if I rent this property out for $1,377, I'd be able to cash with $13 a month. That's a 0.3% cash and cash return, assuming you bought this property for $148,000. Assuming everything else stays constant. Okay. Now, let's say you were targeting a 10% cash and cash return. I believe that for every property, there is a price or a set of terms that would make this work. Now, I'm not saying 10% cash and cash is the magical number, nor is that the number that you should reach or aspire for. I'm simply saying that's just a number that we're using as a benchmark. This is not investment advice. I'm not soliciting any investments on this call. This is why you got to understand what your investment goals are. How do you want to diversify your portfolio? And more importantly, talk to your own investment advisor that knows your situation, your own unique situation, the best. Because there's execution risk, right? Execution risk is, hey, what are the chances of the contractor showing up on time, doing what he or she said they were going to do? That's execution risk, right? What if they find something behind the walls and now all of a sudden they realize that, hey, this doesn't work for me anymore, right? All this stuff matters. So you got to figure out what you're doing and understand whether that's worth the risk that you're taking on. Okay, so if I lower my asking price in B4 to, let's say, $120,000, see what happens to this cash and cash return number. Just jump to the 5. If I go to 105, now all of a sudden it's at 8.6. So I need to go a little bit lower. So now I'm at 10%. I'd have to buy this property, assuming everything else stays constant, because now I'm able to cash flow $258 a month. That's a 10% cash and cash return. I would just have to buy the property for not 148, but 100 grand. Now, is a seller going to accept that offer? That's a whole different story. But at least you now know, hey, for my criteria, how do I keep emotions out of the deal and stay focused on the numbers, right? Now, let's say interest rates drop, which right now it's not doing, but let's say interest rates drop to 6%. Now, all of a sudden, if you bought the property for 100 grand, your cash on cash goes up to 12.4%. So now you can see why your willingness to pay goes up when interest rates go down. So now let me just mess around the numbers to see what I can do to get back to that 10%. So a drop by 1.25% of interest rate allows me to feel like I can pay another 10 grand because my cash on cash return number is closer to my target of 10%, which is 9.8 in this situation. So that's the exercise that I want you to go through so you can figure out, hey, depending on whatever happens, what does that change do to my willingness to pay? Or what other set of terms might make it work? Well, before you might say, I can only offer 100 grand, but if all of a sudden interest rates go down to 6%, right? You have to adapt. You have to pivot with new information, new market updates. That's what you have to do. Okay. All right. So from this point onwards, here's what we're going to do. If you guys want to copy my homework, which I hope you do, I hope you are able to analyze the same deal I analyzed today, right? Using the same spreadsheet. You guys want to copy the spreadsheet, just go to affordablehousing.io. I did not make the spreadsheet from scratch. I got it from a few other folks. I modified it so that I can analyze these deals fast as possible. So you can put in your name, your email, your phone number, and that's the fastest way for you to get a copy of the spreadsheet. So I hope you all have an amazing Friday. I hope you all have an amazing weekend. Hope you are able to spend some quality time with your family and friends today, because that's what life is all about. All right. Have a good one, everybody. I'll see you all tomorrow for day 406. Have a good one.